especially welcome to Pastor Ray. He is here tonight, even though he's going to be leaving us. He's going to move to Monroe, Michigan. He's being transferred to United Methodist Church there, but he is filling in or giving our invocation tonight. I'm glad you are. Thank you for coming. So I'll let you go ahead and do.
God of all creation, thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for arranging everything so that it helps for our survival, for everything that nurtures us, that feeds us. Thank you for the different ways in which you show your compassion to everything that surrounds us, everything we see, perceive, hear, or might not be aware of, that you know about. Even the sun from far away shines light upon us so that plants will grow, fruits, vegetables, in the fields, everything that comes to our tables. Your bounty is plentiful, and there is always plenty for everyone. Thank you for being with us anywhere we might be, that we may always remember to offer our appreciation and our gratefulness for one another and for you and for your creation. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Ray. We wish you all the best in Monroe.
Thank you. To you too.
Turn this off.
Well, I know that Mindy is not going to be here tonight, and Larry seems to remember, and I do know that he mentions it, that Steve will not be either, so I think we can go ahead, even though we're a little early. We'll thank Susie for these flowers, they're beautiful. Is there a special occasion? It's not like be nice to your councilman day or anything, and I missed it. Well, thank you for doing that. We'll call the meeting to order now at 6:57 with our pledge. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shirley, would you take roll call, please?
Mike Connell.
Here.
Chad Fuller.
Here.
Cindy Galloway. Larry Lambert.
Here.
Bob Porter.
Here.
Steve Wallace. Mayor Hammond.
Here. Looking now for approval of our agenda.
I move that the agenda be adopted as printed.
Second.
We have a motion from Chad, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And now for reading and approval of the minutes of our meeting that was held on June 1st.
I move that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the June 2nd, 2023 regular meeting.
Second.
It was June 2nd, not 1st?
It was the first.
It was June 1st.
June 1st, you said
First.
June 2nd.
He said the second. Amend the date to the
Yeah,
first.
amend
I
the
first.
second it.
All right, there we go. All those in favor of Larry's motion that was seconded by Bob, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. don't believe we have any pre-approved reports tonight, so we'll move on. Do we?
We have these.
Oh, okay, yes. We have those presentations.
Yeah, I
Okay,
left that
there
out,
we go.
sorry.
That's all right. Is it Larry this month? Okay,
It
Larry,
is me.
you go right ahead.
I got the honor to recognize Floral Gallery as the Put Your Best Face Forward Merchant Recognition for the month of June here in Perry.
Well, yay!
And that's where I came. And that's,
There you go.
thank you,
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
thank you.
You always do a great job with
Shirley
the
wants your picture.
storefront, inside and out. So keep everything nice and tidy.
Thank you.
Ready?
No, but, you want to break your phone, but,
All right, that's good.
Thank you again.
thank you. And thank you very much, and that's why, the Forest couldn't come without bringing something
Yeah,
to each and
well,
every one
thank
of you.
you. That was
So
very
then you can take it home to your wife, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, the Perry Pride Resident Award for the month of June goes to Tim and Teresa DeLu at 519 East 2nd Street. They always keep their yard and curb appeal right up top notch in their neighborhood. So I wanted to recognize them for all of their efforts.
Wonderful. Looking for anyone here for public comment? Seeing none. Kyle, do you have any public comment?
There's a cricket back here.
Okay. And communication, Shirley, do we have any
I
communication?
do not have anything.
Okay. I do have a report to give you. This came about as Megan was looking over some vacation time, and as you know, for most of our employees, they have to use their vacation time annually or they lose it. And Shirley, who's been taking on a lot of extra responsibility with Devin being gone, has not been able to use her vacation time, and her anniversary date will be July 17th. So I'm asking if we would consider extending her the benefit of paying her 40 hours of unused vacation time so that it's not forfeited by July 17th. Now, it might be that she'll use some of it between now and then because her daughter's going to have a baby, and so she'll want to be present there and doing some things. But if it is a 40-hour payout, it would be approximately $750. So if you would consider that, excuse me, I'll put it on the agenda for our next meeting for a vote, but if you'll just give that consideration.
Is that how she would like to be compensated?
She doesn't want to be compensated.
Yeah.
She wants to just let it go.
I
But
would see like one option being extending the time to burn it or paying her out, so.
do you have a preference?
It really doesn't matter to me if it rolls over, but Megan seems to think that I won't use it. I won't be able to use it if it rolls over
It could
either.
be, I guess, it's,
So it's whatever, it doesn't matter to me, really.
okay.
Other discussion, anyone?
Have we ever paid it out before?
We have, we paid out, was it John? Yeah, John Souter, we paid him.
Yeah, I think under the circumstances, I'm in full support.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting, and we'll need a resolution from Justin. Alrighty. Do any committees have reports?
Yeah, I'll just give everyone a reminder that our next ordinance committee meeting is next Thursday, the 22nd at 10 a.m. here in council chambers. Continue some work on a few ordinances and a couple new topics that have been brought to our attention.
Any other committee reports? Moving on then to presentation and approval of the bills.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and that payment be authorized.
Second.
We have a motion by Larry, seconded by Chad. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on to old business, seeing none there, we'll move into new business. And we have the report from the police committee. The police committee was put together to look at options for paying for the police services in part or in full, in some form other than taking it all out of the general fund. And so we have made up of Steve Wallace, Mike Connell, and Chief Kyle, and myself. We've met a couple of times, and minutes from those meetings were put in your packet. The committee decided to make recommendation. Do you want to read that?
Right here?
Yeah.
Perry Police Department Funding Committee. This meeting was held Wednesday, June 7, 2023 at 9 a.m. at Perry City Hall in council chambers. Present were Police Chief Kyle Box, Council Member Mike Connell, Council Member Steve Wallace, Mayor Sue Hammond, and City Treasurer Megan Galbraith. Discussion was held in follow-up to the meeting of May 17, 2023 regarding creating a special assessment to fund a portion of the current police department budget so money would be available in the general fund. The committee decided to make the recommendation to the City Council for a special assessment to fund a portion of the police budget with a per-unit assessment starting at $190 annually and increasing annually up to 5%. Due to the need to create the special assessment to augment the city budget, it was also decided by the committee to recommend the mutual aid agreement with the Village of Morris be ended.
So there's our committee report, and we are now open for discussion on that and any other of the information that was included in your packet. We obviously will not be voting on anything tonight, but based on our discussion tonight, could place items on the agenda next week to be done or looked at further. If we do create a special assessment, then we have to go through the correct process for creating a special assessment district and having public hearings to that effect and so on. Most likely, if we do decide to do that, it would take approximately 3 months, and we would start the process in September. Then it could go on the winter tax bill.
Question concerning the mutual aid agreement that we've got with Morris. Is that something that we have a documented time frame that we're committed to help them out, or was it a gentleman's agreement that can be severed as appropriate?
Kyle,
My understanding, so it's a, I want to say it's a 30-day out,
that's what we were talking about.
30 or 60-day clause in there
Okay.
to dissolve that. We, I believe, have had contact with the city attorney regarding that and the best options to how we should proceed with that.
And yes, we have. I've sent him an email, but I have not heard back from him.
Okay, very good. So, yeah, I apologize, I didn't have a chance to look up if it's 30 or 60 days, but
There
that
is
was
a-
built in the original signed
They're
agreement.
built into the agreement that we can dissolve that.
There there was discussion about that, mostly because it's truly not mutual anymore, at least equally mutual, if that's a definition. The village of Morris, to the best of my knowledge, last I knew, they have one officer. And certainly, there's always the possibility that the City of Perry Police Department would step in to help in a crisis. That would happen, you know, just,
We'll do that countywide. and that-
Right.
That's, yeah, that doesn't change.
but for a standard, doing more routine type things, it would bring that to a close. Did you want to speak to that maybe a little more?
Yeah, no, essentially, the responsibility of taking calls over there, I mean, we would go for health and safety issues, and essentially what we refer to, and Mike would understand, we hold it down until another agency gets there. So when the state police or the sheriff's department arrive, and that's how we did business prior to this agreement. So I don't think any of that would change. But as far as documenting, reporting, arresting people and taking them to the jail, like we did last weekend, yeah, that would come to an end. It would be the state or the county that would respond for that kind of thing. We may go over there and assist them in that call at that point, but we're not going to be taking the call, so to
Just
speak.
first line of involvement.
Correct. Yep.
I have a question for, because I don't know this. We all pay property taxes, go to Shiawassee. Some of that money goes to the sheriff. Do we get money back? Can anybody tell
We
me
get
that?
money back?
From the county?
Yeah, for the, because we pay, I know we pay for this, the jail, but some of our taxes must support the sheriff. And we have our own police department, so shouldn't we get a kickback, or I mean, a refund?
I don't think so. Only because, just like we were talking with the Perry and Morris mutual aid, there's always occasional need to call on the county.
I don't believe that happens anywhere in the state of Michigan.
Okay, because I don't know, that's why I asked the
I
question.
know. And I'm trying to think, I don't see how you delineate this amount of funding to go, not go to the sheriff's department and come back
And
to
come
the
back.
pockets of the residents or the property owners in the city.
Because
So,
I don't see the need for $190 per household, because we're gonna ask for $110 for an ambulance, so now we're gonna increase just $300. You're gonna put people to shock, but I don't see the call volume that,
Well, but
The
it's
police
not, Bob,
department.
don't look at it that way.
Well, I have to.
Well, but how I'd like to have you look at it, let me say it that way.
okay,
How I'd like to have you look at it is that we're trying to get money into our general fund. We don't have any other way to get money into our general fund to pay for stuff, other things that we need. If we want to apply for a grant, for example, we don't have money in our general fund to pay the match. There's grants out there that are 50%, 20%.
I know.
You know, but we don't have money to pay a match, and
Right.
other things that might come up. Our general fund is covering what we have, but there's nothing extra, nothing extra.
Okay, so what's the
We have to
$190 going to fund?
It will fund a portion of the police department's budget.
Current budget, are you increasing? are you
No, we're not increasing
Increasing
any.
So it is a
Officers or
public
vehicles?
safety
No, nothing.
special
Okay.
assessment,
No.
but it's offsetting general fund. So it's
Okay.
coming in to offset costs of the police department, not increasing, we're not doing anything different in the police department.
Okay,
Nothing's
He's not doing
changing.
anything extra.
Essentially, there's just gonna be that amount of money that's back in the general fund for us to utilize.
okay.
Tries to get us
So
out of
it's
the
under-
deficit budget,
I-
for one thing.
No, I
Under public
know
safety.
I know we have no money,
Right.
I understand that.
Yeah, and that's the only.
But I just have I have a problem because we don't sell widgets. If we sold widgets, then we could say, oh, we need to increase the widget $1 a piece. This, and you can call it whatever you want, it's a tax. Fee, tax, whatever you want to call it, special, it's still a tax. We pay a lot of taxes here in the city of Perry.
We
So
don't, because you can't call it anything you want, because it's not a tax.
It is.
Look at your bill. Look at your bill.
And
One day you said, my taxes have gone up every year since I moved here. No, they haven't. The special assessments have, your taxes have gone down. I looked it up.
Okay, it's, you're paying, it's
So
it's
quit calling
nuances.
it a tax, it's not.
But it
It's an
is.
No, it's not.
When I take money from you, from the government, it's a tax. You call it a fee, you call it whatever you want. It's still a tax.
But it's
You're
not.
taxing me to put money here. It's a definition argument, okay? Call it whatever you want. Call it a special assessment. Fine,
Thank you.
fine. Call it a special assessment.
Yeah.
All I know is we pay a lot of special assessments and fees in
Yeah.
the city of Perry. I lived in Oakland County.
Mhm.
Brandon Township, I had 7.5 acres. I paid less property taxes, my house was worth more than I do here.
I don't think that's true.
It is true, I lived there for 20
Bring me the
years.
paperwork and I'll look at it and see, because
I
I don't
lived there for
believe that.
20 years, I know what I paid for
We
7.5
have,
acres.
we have special assessments for the library. We have special assessment for SADA. We have special assessment for the ambulance.
Mhm.
We have hopefully special assessment to help pay a portion of the police department so we can get money back in our general fund, because we don't have any other way to get it there. So we have a lot of things that are paid by special assessment. Now, maybe where you live, they paid those things in a different way, because
I had
you
a
could
volunteer
cover
fire
the-
department, I had the sheriff's department, I paid my own, I had a well, so I paid my electricity for the well, and I paid for my own garbage. Basically the same services I get here. The only difference, I have a local police department, where I have a sheriff's department there. That's the whole biggest difference. It's just, we pay a lot, and that's the feeling. My wife just Jennifer talked to somebody the other day about, she lives 3 doors out of the city, and I won't let her move in the city because it's too expensive. Fees. They have a lot of rules and fees. What define that, I don't know, I didn't talk to her, and she didn't elaborate. So that's the general feeling, thought process of the general public.
the lowest tax amount in Shiawassee County is Shiawassee Township. The second lowest tax amount in Shiawassee County is Woodhull Township. Now, a good portion of those taxes, and I'm not talking about special assessments, because they all still pay special assessments. But if they don't have a full-time city hall or township hall, there's a lot less that has to be paid in taxes to pay those employees. So for a city our size, for the services we provide and the number of employees we employ to provide those services, yeah, we do have a lot of taxes for the number of people we have. The more our population grows, the more households that we gain, the taxes hopefully will come down. But we've added, there's a paper in here that says, what was it, Shirley, 35?
35 houses.
Yeah.
35 houses, so I mean, that's keeping our nose above water by that much.
Well, some of the problem, and I'm not saying that anything can be done or should be done, but people who've lived there for a long time, their assessments may be really low. So, right on my street alone,
Yeah.
you know, so,
And that's true. People who've owned their homes a long time don't get reassessed due to sale or property transfer.
so their special assessment of $300 increase in 1 year may not affect it unless you're on a fixed income, I don't know. It's a lot of money.
It is
Everything keeps going, and everything goes up.
absolutely open.
My mortgage payment goes up every year.
Nobody made
Actually, no,
this,
I should say, it went down for 3 months and then it went back up.
nobody made this decision lightly.
No, it wasn't.
It seemed like the best option to go. I think it is the best option
I hate fees.
to go. I don't like.
And I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, it might be, but there's gotta be another way, cut budgets or something. I don't know why we're so far under. Is it a legacy cost? You know, what is it?
A A legacy cost, I don't know what you mean.
Legacy, we have a lot of pensions and, or health insurance from pensions, whatever, I don't know.
Underfunded pension
Going through the
liability.
budget, Bob, that we just
Yeah.
went through not long ago.
Yeah.
and
I'll take a
what we've
pension.
got for healthcare and.
Oh, that's right, I don't have one. Okay.
Neither do I.
We don't, yeah, we
Neither
don't.
do I.
So that's
But
not
I
the
chose-
issue.
No, I chose a profession that doesn't offer it,
Yeah,
so,
I chose to work here.
Yeah. We look, I second what Mike said, we did not look at this lightly. If there are other options out there for us to get more money into our general fund, I'm happy to hear them. I'm happy to hear people say what they are. We didn't come up with any. I mean, we went into this with the idea that there is a fund for the police department that is in general fund. If we could move that or a portion of it out of there, it would have more money in general fund. So let's look at that. Is there a way to do that? And lo and behold, there is. And this is what we came up with. It doesn't change anything for the police
How many
department.
households do we have in Perry, in the city?
Approximately 900 and 980 maybe.
Yeah.
And we do still have developable land, but we have no control over
No,
that.
yeah,
you know.
we're not in the business, real estate business of
Right.
building and selling houses,
Yeah.
and not that we should be.
Right.
But they're still, I'm sorry,
Go ahead. No,
they're
go
still
ahead.
coming though. I just got a building permit for a brand new house this week, so it's not like they're not still coming in.
Yeah, the market hasn't collapsed, it's just slowed down a little bit.
And
don't like it
like
either.
I said, we won't be voting on anything tonight.
No, I know that.
But we're gonna discuss it, we'll hash it out, we'll see if it's worthy of putting on the agenda for next meeting and see.
If
how
we
you
don't
want
do
to
something
it.
like this, it won't be long, and we're gonna have to look at what services we're going to cut.
Okay.
You know, whether we're gonna start taking healthcare away from employees, whether we're
Yeah.
gonna start cutting services.
Yeah.
Because as we talked, we had the budget review, our reserves are continuing to dwindle, not as much this year in the new budget as they have in the past, but we're still,
It's 'cause
we still don't have a balanced budget right now.
No, we have more of a deficit budget. And
Exactly.
the only reason it's not 75,000 is because we had ARPA money.
Yeah.
I brought it up in our budget stuff, I didn't want it, but I read it out, I voted for it, there was no other option.
That's right.
But we have to really strongly look at this. I'm not a big fan, we have to have money, I get that, but that's a lot of money. It's a
Well,
lot of money.
In our committee, we talked about it on a monthly basis. It's a monthly amount. $25 a month to ensure that our budget has extra funds to pay for the things that are needed. I mean, we have things that are absolutely needed. We need a new tornado siren. We discussed it a little bit last meeting. We need another tower with a tornado siren on it, if we're gonna have that. Now, maybe we should just eliminate it and not have the tornado siren. Maybe people don't need that anymore. But if we do need it, we need another one, because only a portion of the town and the majority of people that actually hear it don't even live in the city, they live in the township. So, I mean, we need to fix that. So maybe we can apply for some grant money for that, but it's got matching funds to it. We don't have any. We
I
could,
understand that,
Yeah.
and I don't disagree with the siren. I just don't,
I recognize that. We're a city that is a size that's difficult to manage because our services provide services to a population that doesn't necessarily financially support that. So do we drop services? Do we get rid of our employees? Do we not have, I mean, it's a difficult decision to make, it is. But
everything has to be looked at.
That's right. Well, we looked at everything in our budget. When we created that budget, we looked at everything line by line, line by line.
And there was no cost saving, we couldn't cut anything.
The only thing we
Nothing.
could cut that I think was even casually mentioned was employee health insurance. And I am here to tell you that if we cut their health insurance, we're gonna lose employees. They'll go someplace else.
We have to, sorry.
Yeah.
I would shoot for
I don't have a
that
choice.
for a
No,
second.
I don't.
And my people don't have that choice either.
That's right.
I've said it in a meeting. We either pay for it like this, or we pay for it in salary.
That's right.
Health insurance isn't the only thing. There's lots of things. It's just, and I'm not anti anything, except too many darn fees. We have fees and fees and fees, everything. It just keeps going up and up, and I know you looked at it and said, my taxes don't go up. Okay, my fees are going up. Whatever words you want to use, still
It's-
coming out of my
It's costing
pocket.
more. That's exactly right. But that's nationwide,
Oh, yeah,
worldwide. It's not just
everywhere.
the city of Perry.
I know that. But it's a hard pill to swallow.
It is, it truly is, and I recognize that. My heart goes out to those people that would be trying to decide whether to buy food or pay their special assessment. And I said this to Steve, because he had, I'll speak for him because he's not here. He had the same objections, you know, so many are on fixed income. I said, Steve, truly, if they cannot afford $25 a month to help pay for the city services, it's time for them to not own a house anymore. They need to sell their house and move into an apartment.
Yeah, but apartments aren't any cheaper living in a house.
But they don't have to pay special assessments and they don't have to pay taxes.
So the units, how are you doing a unit? Is a unit an apartment? Because we have some apartments here.
But the individuals who live there don't pay it.
Well, they'll pay it eventually, indirectly. Right? They pay it indirectly.
They pay it in their rent.
Right, which are now, I mean,
Yeah.
average rent's like $1,500 now, mortgage payment. So if you own your house, why would you move into an apartment?
You have to put a roof on our apartment.
That it's, I understand you didn't mean it this way, but it's really heartless to say those things to those people.
I don't think I'm heartless.
No, I said, I
am
don't think you
anything
mean it that
but
way,
heartless.
but that's how it, you know, oh,
I
I'm not
don't
a fixed
appreciate
because I know
being
Steve.
called heartless.
I didn't,
I am far from that,
I
Bob.
didn't say you were hurt, I said what you said was heartless. You didn't mean it that way. I know who Steve's talking about, because he talked to me about it, his neighbor. That's after he pays everything, has $200 or something. So, because he has, however he chose to live his life, he owns his house, I'm assuming it's paid for. He's on a fixed income. So we're not gonna we have no empathy for him?
We
For that person?
do,
I'm sure there's more people
we do
than
have
just
a,
one person.
we do have a program in the city for people of low income, if they qualify for that program.
Yeah, there's qualifications,
Yeah.
there's veterans things, right,
Yeah.
so, as long as those things still
Yeah. But
apply.
I don't want to see us lose any of our city services. I don't want to see us lose any of our city employees. The people in the city of Perry will have to decide, do they want to stay here and pay the fees that are necessary to pay, to have the city services that we have? Or do they want to live in Shiawassee Township or Woodhull Township where they don't have any of those services and their fees and taxes are less? But that would be the decision that we as a council have to make. Are we going to stop some city services, or are we going to charge a fee to help pay for those so that our general fund still has money in it. We're not increasing anything in this. We're not increasing anyone's budget. It is the budget that was approved last month.
Right, so, but we're asking for an assessment. I'll refrain from using the word tax. Because it's an end game, an end around really is what it is, right?
Right. But we can't
So-
raise our taxes. It's not allowed by
No,
law.
I know, Headley, I understand that, I understand that. But, so, in my house and your house, I'm assuming, none of us, I don't think, are independently wealthy. When we have a crisis, we look at our budget, what can we cut? What can I don't need that, I don't need to go out to dinner, I don't need to do this, you know, we're gonna have to carpool, whatever. We're gonna have to look at that. And I know you said we did, but I mean, we have 4 police officers, correct?
4 full-time.
4 full-time. So Corona only has 2 or 3 full-time and 4 part-time, I think is what I looked it up. So they're a bigger city.
Williamston
Can we
has
look at-
12.
They're bigger
Why
than us,
just
too.
mention Corona and not Williamston?
But Williams is bigger. We also, I looked at, I saw somewhere where we have, the Michigan average is 1.8 officers per 1,000 or something like that, and we have 1.96 or something. Am I close to that number? Corona has 0.9, Williamston had 1 something, 1 was less than ours, but still over the right around the Michigan average. That's all. I mean, we're calling it a police emergency services fee. So, I don't know. It's really hard to wrap my head around this.
Well, that also ties into why we terminated our mutual agreement with Morris. It's because we don't want to be asking for more and leaving the police and then spending time over there.
Okay.
That's the kind of cut we're able to make. So that our citizens are getting what they're paying for. They're not paying for something that's out of town.
I think you'll see in that package you received some of the reasons that the committee felt that it was important to have a City of Perry Police Department. Also, a report from the police department showing
Yeah, it's
a
not.
monthly statistical
Just
report.
runs and stuff.
Yeah. And it's, I think very important to have a local police department here. We're a long ways from anywhere. Corona is, the Shiawassee County Police Department is in Corona.
No, I understand that.
They're right there.
They're the
We're 20 minutes away from anybody.
hub, or it's not called the hub.
County seats.
See, thank you. Couldn't think of the word. I understand that, but, you know, and I'm not anti-law enforcement, I'm not
I'm not taking
anti-police.
that, Bob, just so you know.
Thank you, because that's not my point. It really isn't. I have to look at it from this, I'm gonna be selfish, I have to look at how I'm gonna come up with another $200,
I hear you.
right?
Yeah.
So, my mortgage is gonna go up, basically. They're not gonna cover it for me, unfortunately.
Something that's not on that statistical page, and this isn't gonna counter your position at all, but something very unique for us in our department. I just tallied up the hours, or I'm sorry, the years of service for our full-time officers that we have currently. We're at 80 years worth of police, Perry police service here. I would like to know anywhere in the area, not just the county, that anyone has that kind of continuity with the
It's a big deal.
police department our size. Because even the bigger departments that have more officers aren't keeping people. So that says a lot on behalf of the city to have kept and maintained officers that long in a smaller area like this.
There is a portion of our property taxes that goes to the township. There's a Public Act 425 in place out at the intersection along Lansing Road.
Yeah, we're paying
So a
them
lot of
for,
those businesses are, the taxes, they pay, a portion of it goes to the city and a portion of it
Right.
goes to the township.
yeah, we have
And
another
I
50
think
years
if-
or something on
yeah,
it, right?
Right. I think if we looked at that, probably it would even things out better. We'd have some money in our general fund, just by virtue of that money having come in. It was created in the 90s, or maybe 2001, but I mean, it was 20 years ago at least.
Is that for anything that comes in currently also?
Anything in that area,
So
yeah.
it's based on
Whether it's
area,
newer or
not-
existing, yeah.
Because that area won't be completely annexed into the city until whatever date.
Until, yeah, exactly.
We won't care. Right? I mean,
I doubt I'll be around in 50 years.
So when we think about the budget and how much comes into that, well, why doesn't that cover our expenses? Well, that's part of it.
Headley's part of it.
Yeah, and Headley is a whole lot of it.
Yeah, but, you know.
You know, we could ask the city residents to pass an increase in the taxes. And that's why I try to keep this discussion defining things more clearly. If we asked for a vote from the residences to increase our taxes, we could, if the city residents passed that for 5 years or even 10 years, they could do that. That would bring some money back into our general fund, but it also starts to roll back immediately. So in 5 years, it's back to where we are today, you know, and it's just, that doesn't seem like a logical
I
approach.
still contend that a lot of people don't recognize when they pay, whether you're paying it through escrow, whether you're writing a check to City Hall here, only a small portion of that fund stays with our city.
Right, and that's why I asked
mean,
that question.
You talk about the school, you talk about all of the other places that money goes.
That's right.
We've got a small slice, and Megan, I forget the exact numbers,
Yes.
but Megan did an illustration here with the last tax bill
That's
to
right.
kind of carve out, here's what the city has for all of the services that we provide, not what the school gets and not what the county gets.
Correct, and I understand that. I don't know what the percentage is, but that's why I asked the question about the sheriff's department, because I know the county taxes I pay funds them.
Yeah.
And I don't use their service, or very rarely. So
Same thing
when
with
we have
the
a
school
meter,
though,
if
Bob.
they come to us.
Well, we do. We use their service.
And we still get.
We use
Through
it
jail.
as service. Well, no, the
We
jail,
use-
the jail is for every county, I understand the jail,
Sure.
but we don't have, we have a local police department, so I don't have the sheriff coming patrolling or coming to a call unless you guys are completely tied up, but usually what I've seen, and little I've seen, it's a state police officer I see.
Sure.
So, it's just,
It's
I was,
frustrating.
the one week I didn't come get my packet so I could actually study something.
No, you
and
can still
look at
study it. We're not making any decisions tonight. The only decision we'll make is, Joe, do we continue to look at this? That's the decision. We put it on the agenda for the next meeting again for further discussion.
I think so. Listen to a
I
couple
think we
council
have to,
members.
or we're
Yeah.
gonna be talking about what services do we take away, which I don't wanna be there if we can absolutely avoid it.
We can have Megan create that pie chart for us again, so that we're looking at the percentages of where the tax money
That should be-
goes.
Does she send that out with her text
It
thing?
went-
Do you know? Did she send it out?
She did,
it- Yeah, it went out with
Yeah.
the last, not the one that's going out now, I think you
no,
talked
the
about
Lemeter
possible,
one, I
but
think.
it went out with the last one, it was a
Yeah.
$100 bill or whatever that she graphically
Yeah, right.
sliced into pieces.
You know, and maybe it was last summer even that she did that one, yeah.
I missed it.
is I'd raise it.
I
Well,
look, I always
maybe it-
look at all those
Maybe
things.
it went to your mortgage
More,
company.
oh, maybe, that's the one right
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
It's a good place for it to go.
Because I think everybody, she started, whether they
Right.
are escrow taxes or not,
Right,
every,
but I wonder
Taxpayer.
if she started doing that after she sent that out.
no, it was in the,
Was
it was in one of the tax bills.
Well, we'll have her make those for us for our next July meeting package. Any other questions for Kyle? Comments, ideas?
Just buy a bunch of lottery tickets.
Put it on the agenda.
Thank you, Kyle.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to say, in looking at this again, this came from the DNR, an email, and it's a legacy of tree planting in partnership with DTE. And we don't do DTE, so we can't qualify for this anyway, but just as an example, they have a total of $100,000 available to pay out to people, municipalities that apply for this grant. And I was going, oh, wow, that's great, maybe Consumers does that, I was getting on, and then it said, in a one-to-one matching grant of up to $4,000. Even if we got $4,000, we don't have $4,000 to pay in the match. I mean, we've got to get some money in our general fund. First of all, for emergencies, certainly. But, gosh, if we had the opportunity to get $5,000 for something, for parks, for whatever, we don't have the match money. I mean, I would love to see us be able to put streetlights like the township did along Lansing Road. And I got the estimate on those, and it's almost $100,000. So there is grant money, we could apply for that, but it's not 100% grant.
It's really cheap. I mean, for a project that size, that is not a lot of money.
But we can't
I-
afford to get it.
Believe me, I
know.
agree with you,
Yeah.
but I'm surprised that it's that inexpensive.
98,000 something. Yeah. But anyway, it's something we really need to spend some time on, and I appreciate you taking the time to look it all over. Thank you, committee, thank you, council. So Shirley will ask for that to be on the agenda for further discussion at the next meeting. We call it the police committee because that's how we're identifying the money that will be paid by the special assessment, but truly it should be called getting money into the general fund committee because that's what we spent most of our time discussing. Any further discussion on that? Then we'll move into our redo, right, Shirley? We're calling this a redo because that's exactly what it is. At our last meeting, we voted to repeal these two sections out of the ordinance number 377. But we never did read a portion of it that is required to be read. And in your packet, you'll see that somewhere. Yeah, it's City of Perry, Shaughnessy County, State of Michigan, ordinance number 377 is what it says at the top. The portion that we did not read last time says, the City of Perry ordains. We didn't read that last time. So we have to do this over. But to do it properly, we also have to read this and then vote on it next time. This is like reading the ordinance
So
the
just
first
use that
time.
word for word.
So we have to read the whole,
Yeah.
yeah, that. So we have to read it, and then at the next meeting is when we'll vote on it, and then 30 days later, it actually goes into effect.
The thing is, it's a very short one.
Yeah,
I move that ordinance number 377, section 1060 and 284, which will be repealed and reads as follows, be placed on the next agenda for possible adoption. The City of Perry ordains Perry City Code, Chapter 1060 and Chapter 284 are hereby repealed. This repeal ordinance is effective 30 days after publication.
Second.
is that you, Bob?
Yes.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
I
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Do we have any other business that may come before council? I just wanted to bring up the tornado siren again, because we need to do something. And I don't know what we need to do. Chad, what do we need to do?
How much was the project with the siren and the pole and?
I don't remember, I'd have to dig that out and look. And I can do that. We can put it on the agenda for next time to discuss it further and dig out the information that we had on it before. But we need to decide if we're gonna make the city responsible for alerting people for a tornado, or whatever it's going off for. Or do we just not do that? Because it's inadequate right now. I was driving from my house to this building when it was going off. I could not hear it. And I didn't have my radio.
Windows up?
My windows were up, yes. But my car's not noisy.
I remember Jennifer couldn't hear it that day either.
Yeah.
She didn't think it went off.
Yeah?
It was a test.
I think John, back before Kevin, they actually had put a study together and had the folks evaluate our current, system, and we had some
Yes.
numbers, I think, for what it would take to put
Yes.
one over in the
Yeah, we did, and
northeast part
that's
of
what
town.
I'll dig out.
Yeah.
I'll dig that stuff out. We did apply for a grant for that, but we did not get the grant. I mean, we could keep applying for a grant for that to be done. And I don't remember if it was a match or if it was 100% funding, but I can dig that out as well, and we can look at that. But the decision needs to be, is that something we're gonna put more money into, or is that something that we just don't do? So many people have, their phone that has, I remember a few years back when a tornado touched down out here by the physical therapy place. And my phone was going off before I heard the siren go off. But I recognize too that not everybody in town has that app on their phone. So we need to decide how we're gonna do that.
Yeah, it's a big project.
Does Lansing have sirens?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something else we'll put on the agenda for next time. Any other business? Any public comment?
Seen cricket.
Council discussions and observations. And I want to say, I appreciate how we can discuss things and how I can yell at Bob and he doesn't get mad.
You should be just
I mean,
put that on.
Yeah, sorry, I'm passionate about certain things.
No, I
And
appreciate
I have a
that.
very loud voice, and everyone thinks I'm yelling, and I'm not. You'll know it when I'm yelling.
That's why I don't say anything at the support meetings. So he yelled at my mom.
But yeah, we all need to feel comfortable in speaking to what we are passionate about, and I appreciate that all of you are willing to do that. Any other items for our next agenda, other than those already mentioned?
I guess, Shirley, if you just check and see where we are with the potential first reading of the pet and animal ordinance that I sent to you and Devin. It may not be ready for reading yet, because it needs to get compiled and off to Justin, so it may have to be a meeting after next. If it's ready, so we can put that on.
Anything else? Then now at 7:49, the meeting's adjourned.